What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block. I don't know what for the date of July 11th, right? That's tomorrow? The 11th is?
Yes.
Tuesday the 11th. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, Edward Varnell.
Hello, everybody. Also, rest in peace, Iwata.
Man, don't remind me.
I know.
I'm sad now. Oh, boy. Man, that's just sad. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But we will always keep your memory because we have we're talking about Nintendo. Great news came out, man. Yes, Nintendo.
Oh man, dude, I've been playing that Zelda DLC. It's really good. It's really good. And like, I tried to play some Fire Emblem on 3DS, and I just keep going back to the Zelda DLC because, man, I almost want to start a new game and play through it again. Like, if it didn't delete my save file, if I could have multiple save files, I would have done it by now. It's that initial, like, man, I 100% of the game. Do I really want to, like, erase all that and start over? And, like, I know I can create another profile on Switch and just do it that way, but I'm like this close to doing it. I want to experience that game again.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to the Guardian. I've just been trying to find shrines and stuff and tackle them. But I'm ready to go to the last Guardian, and I think I'm getting ready to beat the game. So I'm close to it. I am close to it. So be patient with me, Corey. Be patient with me, boss. because there's a lot of games that I will be discussing kind of in the next 3 months with a lot of people. And everybody, I have a Nintendo Switch on layaway right now. So when I finally get the Nintendo Switch, I'll be able to talk more about the games. It's just geek out with Corey and geek out with you all who have a Nintendo Switch. If you don't have one, I'm still ready to geek out with you guys with Wii U, 3DS, or anything Nintendo related or video game related in general. But I'm so excited, dude. Like, really, like every paycheck that I get, because I'll have it out before I come and see you. Yes. So I think that first paycheck of September will pay the rest of it off, and then I'll be there with you with some games, and we'll nerd out that way.
Yes, it's gonna be exciting. I'm so excited.
Dude, I can't wait for the episodes that we record. I can't wait for this whole trip.
No, dude, it's gonna be awesome for fans of like the old DNA platform stuff, where we used to sit around the table and have all the microphones and all this cool stuff on the table and stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to check out that's how Pow Block. We're gonna film a couple episodes of Pow Block that way, and I'm really excited to just do it that way. It's gonna be exciting. I
literally when I get to work tomorrow, I'm getting the request in to let my boss know, and then in August I'm buying the tickets for the trip, and I'll be set to go do. I'm super stoked to come down. I'm just so ready to come down.
I know. I'm so excited because we're gonna be able to, like, I haven't decided like where we're gonna do that, but like we have the green screen, so we can like we can have like super production behind the episodes. Yes. And they're just going to be ridiculously over the top produced episodes of Nintendo Pow Block, and then we'll be back to this format in terms of video. But like for 2 episodes, we're going to be able to have a super over produced show for Nintendo Pow Block. I'm really excited for that. I'm so excited.
Yes, dude. I tried to go to Target to find a hat and I couldn't, so I'm gonna have to go like the Hot Topic or something. I definitely for JCPenney, I gotta go get some video game T-shirts because I need one for our other podcast, Arsenal X. I need an Xbox. I need a T-shirt for that, and then I need some hats for kind of for all 3 shows. Not all 3 shows. Kind of for Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox. So I'll be shopping. Hopefully I get a chance to find those items and buy it. So anyone in Wisconsin that's close to Kenosha, I know I think it's Jesse White. I think he's in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Jesse, if you see this, come through, come to Kenosha. Drive 2 to 3 hours to come and hang out with me so we can nerd out. Yeah, but I'll be trying to pick some stuff up. But video games, dude. Yeah, Breath of the Wild. That's what I'll be working on. With F Zero, not F Zero, Star Fox Zero. I'm literally starting that Wednesday, and I cannot wait to start that game.
Oh, man, I busted out. I have my Wii U out. Like, I put it away when I got my Switch just because I didn't really have room for something else to be plugged in. But I've taken it out, and I think I'm going to play some. I'm going to play a little bit of Xenoblade X, and I'm going to play some Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And
Okay. Let me know when you do Tokyo Mirage Sessions, because I'll play along with you. Okay. We still have our play in pod to do, and that would be a good game to really do, because this is long.
We're gonna film like 10 weeks worth of Let's Play and podcasts when you're up here. Dude, as much as I don't miss the super overproduction of every show we do, I do miss having that produced backgrounds and the produced overly produced podcast video version of the show, and the multiple camera angles and the desk with all the cool stuff on it for each of us, and I do miss that, and I cannot wait to just do that again, even if it's for 2 or 3 episodes of our shows. I'm so excited to do that again. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun.
I literally have to work on my presentation. I definitely need my haircut. Hopefully I might have my sister just look, I know you cut my hair. My little hair looks like it's coming back. I need you to cut it again. I need to be straight bald. I have a presentation to do. I have a lot of shows. So I'm because when Thursday hits and I drop my sister off from work, it's just all planning. All I'm doing is getting ready. And then when it hits the time for me to leave here, I'm on that good old train. I'm just hey, everybody, I'm off to Ohio. I'm going to go meet my one of my best friends, my boss.
Oh, that's gonna be exciting, dude! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Ah. Oh man.
Yes.
Before we get into some of these stories, just to kind of gauge, how do you feel about everything we're doing with NGR as a platform?
I think we're doing good. Where everybody is, some of our new people are getting their feet wet, and seeing how a show goes. There's a lot of learning and a lot of preparation that goes. I know for us, we're kind of hyped doing these, getting people from the community and stuff involved, asking questions and stuff. For right now, it's going good. We're starting a foundation. And with this foundation, we're just going to teach, and by those teachers, we're going to expand, hopefully. But at this point, I think we're doing good.
Yeah.
I think we'll get better as time rolls on. There's going to be some times that things don't work and some things do. That's all the process of doing a show or even doing a podcast. All that stuff, it takes time to learn and time to build. And when you know what works and what doesn't work, you can work on the thing that does. And the stuff that doesn't work, maybe you could evolve it and make that better so that it ends up being something that does work in the future. But we're doing good right now.
Yeah, I agree. I know there was a lot of things going on last week and the week before in terms of we've really started fleshing out Arsenal X and Nerds Gone Platinum. Moose has totally taken over Nerds Gone Platinum, and I'm really excited that they're doing that, and I'm really excited that you and I have kind of fleshed out Arsenal X in a way to where it's more like this show, but Xbox related, and that's, I think that fits well. I think Arsenal X isn't probably going to be, some episodes aren't going to be as long as this one, just because we don't want to fill the space with Dead Air. You know, we want to get in and talk about our 3 or 4 topics and get out, answer your questions, get out. You know, like, you know, I think, you know, between NGR Radio proper and then this show particularly, really gave us a foundation to build those other shows. And like, I'm happy, and I know like we got a lot of the old DNA stuff back for use, right? Like the Facebook community groups, the Twitter account, the Twitch page. We have all that stuff that we can use and play around with. And you know, John Martin, friend of NGR and part of the Brew Crew, which is now on NGR, like, you know, that's his whole thing is the Brew Crew. So like the other day we had talked about using the old DNA group and kind of merging NGR and, you know, the World 1-1 group and the old DNA group and kind of forming one massive group because we had that Facebook group that we weren't using, right? And it was becoming a flood of, not that this is wrong or anything, but it became a flood of people promoting their own stuff and not getting feedback, like proper feedback, not getting, you know, the attention that it probably deserves, you know, that kind of stuff. And so we merged one big group, and now like the old DNA group is now the NGR Radio Network group, like, you know, World 1-1, Brew Crew, NGR Radio. You know, our 3 platform podcasts have those groups, which we still have a Nintendo Power Block Facebook group, and I think Moose is setting up a NGP
PlayStation.
Facebook group for that. And I don't know, maybe we'll do one for Arsenal X. We'll see how that goes. But you know, that's kind of where our main hub is now. And our old NGR group is now the NGR Creators Corner, where, you know, we allow people to promote their stuff and toss ideas. Like the big idea behind that group is people need guests. There's a bunch of content creators in this group that, you know, you can throw ideas off of. You can ask for guests. You can ask for feedback on your shows. You can promote your shows. You know, like that's the idea behind that group. And I don't want that to become some kind of promotion fest either. But like, our moderators have done a good job of allowing people so far to like promote and ask questions about their show and gain interest and gain knowledge about how to better their shows and stuff. So that's really cool to see. So it seemed kind of chaotic for like a week, and, you know, John Martin asked, like, we added him to the old DNA group when we changed it to the NGR Radio group, and he's like, where am I? I'm so confused. Where am I? I'm lost. Like, trying to be funny about it, but at the same time, I understand where he was coming from, and I know a lot of people probably were kind of confused about what was happening and stuff, because I didn't really warn anybody. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's do it. People will figure it out. And, you know, people figured it out. But we had this whole other fan base that didn't really follow us from DNA to NGR that, you know, in the first post I made in that group, I was like, we're using the old DNA group for our new project, NGR, which isn't really new at this point. But to a lot of people, like, you know, once DNA was over, they just stopped following us, you know, which is fine, because, you know, we had a lot of personalities over there that people liked, and, you know, Joey and Cameron and Brian and you know, like that whole thing. But, and, you know, I don't mean to turn this into a NGR fest. I want to get to the Nintendo stuff, but they just didn't follow us over. They didn't follow me and Matt when we left, you know. And then, you know, that DNA just kind of faded away, and nobody really did anything else with it. And now that we have all these assets and stuff back that we can use to our advantage, like, I want to expand NGR and creating a group that already has members in it that liked our old content. Maybe they'll like our new content, because it's relatively similar in terms of what we're doing. It's just new personality, new faces, new perspectives, new ideas. So in my first post, I said, you know, we're using this as NGR's platform, and if you know, you don't know who we are, this is who we are. We hope you'll stay with us. And you know, a couple people left the group, and that's fine. A couple people joined the group, and that's great, you know. So I just
And
want
and I know for me, I probably need to post in there to like kind of introduce myself and what I do with NGR. Like kind of like us admins probably just introduce to everybody because they might see us and hear us, but they probably personally don't know us. So I know for me, I'm probably gonna get into the group and be like, "Hey, I'm like, you guys already see my name, but I'm part of da 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 da. This is I've been doing this da 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 da." It's just giving some background history of myself, so that they know who I am. So that when they see these videos and they hear my opinions and comments and stuff, they know where I'm coming from and stuff.
Yeah, and I think maybe we should all do that at some point. You know, like maybe not all at the same time, but like, you know, every day or so, one of us will post, here's who we are, what we do, and this is our part in the bigger role of NGR. And you know, when I left DNA, I got a lot of messages, you know, asking why I abandoned DNA and everything, and some of it was constructive, some of it was, you know, be honest, it's the internet, the typical internet stuff. But like, you know, and I understand why people left if they left, and people stayed if they stayed, or people joined the group. You know, it's tough transitioning, and it's tough to convince people who are fans of your old stuff to come join your new stuff, and that's hard. But like, you know, look what we've built in the 8 months that NGR has been a standalone thing. You know, look what you, me, and Matt starting as a foundation, and now, you know, having Larry, having World 1-1, having Moose, and having, you know, Jason on the NGP side, and Jesse joining as a writer, and, you know, Jesse Douglas, who's been a huge community supporter. Right. You know, I've been wanting to talk to him, maybe even being more of a community manager type role, and, you know, have him plugged in to some shows if he wants to do it. You know, we have all these new faces and all these fresh ideas and all these fresh things going on that, like, you know, I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, but at the same time, like, it's exciting. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about before we got into the Nintendo stuff, and kind of make everything clear to people who have been listening for a long time, and maybe haven't visited the YouTube page or the website in a while, or ever, you know, or, you know, are just following us on Twitter, or just following us through Facebook, or just following us through, you know, the audio versions of the show. You know, I just wanted to be clear on what's happening in terms of NGR as a platform. And, you know, Ed, you and Matt have been the biggest parts of helping this grow. You know, like, even though NGR is like, you know, you and Matt are the biggest personalities of this. I just kind of like host, and people come because they enjoy listening to the personalities, which, you know, I consider you and Matt the biggest personalities in NGR. And it's just like, people come to listen to that, and like, people come for the personalities. It's not like we're delivering the hottest news or anything, you know, and you know, it's just this was some fun thing that we decided to do. And, you know, Ed and I wanted to talk about Nintendo, so we started the Nintendo podcast and kind of just grouped it all together. And now we're expanding. We've got a couple YouTube specific things in the works. We've got all these moving parts. So like, yeah, I should just stop now, because I feel like I'm going to start repeating myself. When I get excited, I start to ramble. When I ramble, I tend to repeat myself. So
it just shows how enthused you are.
Yeah, I want this to be a platform where people can share their ideas, can, you know, capitalize on their ideas, can write, can, you know, film a 5-minute vlog, can do a 15-minute show that, you know, they have an idea for, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, you know? Right. Like I told Matt, like, I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed. And if one of us starts to feel overwhelmed with doing something, like, that show's getting pulled, because A, it's not worth people getting overwhelmed, and B, it's like, you know, we want quality over quantity. And, you know, like, there's 2 shows I would never pull the plug on: NGR Radio proper in this show. Those are my 2 priorities, right? And so like, hey, as much as I love doing Arsenal X, like if either of us ever feel overwhelmed, like we would pull the plug on that show because it's not worth, you know, hurting one of the major shows that we started with, you know.
Yes.
So I mean, there's things that we're still fleshing out, things we're still learning, things we're still building, but at the same time, it's so much fun. It is so much fun.
Excuse me, everybody. I had Mountain Dew, Cold Red, and Chinese food. So,
did you have sweet and sour chicken? Please tell me you had sweet and sour chicken.
No, I had chicken chow mein.
Sweet and sour chicken is the best.
Yeah, but then that gives me the runs, and I'm not trying to lose weight just yet.
Oh, I am.
We'll discuss that off air at another time. Because guess what? We got some great Nintendo news, everybody. And just like, wow, with the Nintendo news. So, Corey, did you want me to take over for this section?
Yeah, you know what? You go. You take over. This is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So everybody, it was announced that WWE 2K18 is hitting the Switch. Seth Rollins broke the news that after a Wii U-sized hiatus, the WWE series is finally coming back to Nintendo home systems. WWE 2K18 is coming to the Switch the same day as the other systems, which is going to be October 17th. So that's two major games in October. Everybody, we have WWE 2K18 and Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm kind of excited because like the last time I really played a wrestling game was on probably N64, and like I always associate wrestling video games with Nintendo for some reason, and like I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of interested because 2K, at least with their sports games, are really supporting Switch. You know, we're getting 2K18 for basketball. We're getting wrestling. You know, it's cool. It's cool that they're supporting the Switch, and it's like I want to try out the wrestling game, but like I want to support third party on Switch in general. So,
WWE 2K18 introduces a host of features, including 8-person matches, extensive customization suite, so it includes 4 matches, superstars, arenas, and videos, full stories for your My Career and My Player, and more. The game is also bringing on new systems for grappling and carries, weight reduction, and a new rendering engine. So this is kind of major. Just like you, Corey, I really haven't picked up a lot of wrestling games. Like back in the day, THQ was the place I was going for wrestling games. But with this coming to Switch, and my niece is also going to have a Switch at her house. So I got to make sure that I might have to get her an early copy with me getting a copy, and we could wrestle on our own Switches and stuff. And this is really major because there are people who love the WWE series, but it's going to be fun for people picking up this game and then maybe even taking that game to a WWE match, and in case you run into a superstar, maybe have them sign a copy, or you know, while you're waiting for the next match, you could start playing the game and see who you think will win for that match. So that's cool.
Yeah, for real. I'm really excited. I think, you know, there's been some struggles with WWE 2K in some capacity in terms of like gameplay and game modes and stuff, but I think every year it's been getting better. And I know a ton of wrestling fans who would love to have wrestling on the go with them. You know,
yes.
My friend Brian is obsessed with wrestling, and he plays this wrestling card game on his iPad because he wants wrestling on the go so bad. So like, and he just got a Switch too. So like, it's gonna be interesting to see how people want it portably, and then transfer it back to the dock when you want to play on the TV. So interesting. I'm excited.
Well, I think this is going to guarantee more sales for the Switch because there are a lot of wrestling fans, and if they could bring this in a arena and play with their friends, because some of the matches I've been to WWE match, and there are long wait times for it. So to have something to game on while some people might go to the bathroom or waiting in line for snacks and stuff at the concession stand, this would be a good game for them to have.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
So our next story, and this is very huge. Kamiko passes 110,000 sales as developers make progress on Picantier for Nintendo Switch, and they tweeted out, or not tweeted out. They was talking to Nintendo Life, and you can find the story. That Kamiko was developed by at Skipmore and at Can_Kikuchu. They are a 2-person team that spent 4 months on this development. It's an original title and Switch exclusive. The game has sold over 110,000 copies in the Switch eShop around the world and was published by Fly High Works with assistance from Circle Entertainment. In terms of sales percentages, Japan is 25%, and it was number 4 in Japan for the first half year of sales. US is 48%, and Europe and Australia is about 27%. And then they break down a little bit more, and then they talk about their new game, Picantier, that's coming to Switch, and you can see pictures on it on Nintendo Life. So it's still in production. It's not final yet on what it is, but that's very huge. Like Japan and Europe and Australia combined is almost too much what we almost made up. So if you think about it, I say they probably made over $550,000 from a game that only cost $5. And they know he did mention that the Switch is going to be sold in Hong Kong. So they're going to try to make a Chinese language for that, like localization. And hopefully they do, and it comes out there, and that's going to probably guarantee more sales, like a game for $5. So that's not bad. Like almost $1 million that they made off this game. $500,000 is really, really good.
Yeah, and that was a really interesting title too. Like, it wasn't a very long game. I think you could beat it probably in like an hour, and speedrunners were getting it down to like 6 or 7 minutes, I think, at one point. But like, for $5 for this, it kind of reminded me of Hyper Light Drifter, type puzzles and stuff. Not nearly as hard, but like,
right.
You had this really cool pixelated art style. You had these cool characters that had different abilities. You made it through this world, and it was just really interesting. And like for $5, it was a really interesting game to sit through. I played it, and you told me about it, and I played it, and it's worth $5. It's not very long. Don't expect like a 20-hour RPG or anything. It's definitely a action adventure game that takes about an hour, but really good, really cool game, and I'm glad it did well. I'm glad it did what it has done already. So
and I think during this holiday, when people do pick it up, it's probably going to be a game to be recommended, to tell people like, okay, I know you're not trying to be on the budget, but there's a game called Kamiko that's on the Nintendo eShop. It's only $5, and you play. I'm like, you probably could spend, like you said, an hour and a half to 3 hours with this, and it's really, really good. I'm like, and that's really good to hear. So that might guarantee them more sales for it when it comes to this holiday. It's definitely a game that I'm going to pick up when I get my Switch.
Yeah,
so
definitely. If you own a Switch, you should check it out. It's
cool. So the last story that we're going to talk about, Nihon, Nihon, because Corey was saying Neon, Neon Falcon. Nihon, it was funny. Nihon Falcon president would definitely like to release games on Nintendo Switch if the opportunity presents itself. Nihon Falcon, they are the creators or developers and publishers for Ys, The Legend of Heroes, the Xanadu series, and also of the The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. They are the makers of it. They did an interview with DualShockers, and Toshihiro Kondo commented saying that the Nintendo Switch is completely a Nintendo machine, and that's a really cool thing. And they spoke about the interest in bringing titles to the console. He said, yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, I would definitely like to get Falcom games on the Switch. So there's a lot of people are hoping that. The reason why I brought the story is because a lot of people in the comment section were on a wait and see an approach. And a lot of people have been doing that with a lot of developers and publishers. Is that they talk about how cool the Nintendo Switch is, or how they really like it, and they see a lot of people in their development teams coming to work with them. But not a lot of developers and publishers are willing to give full commitment to it. There's a lot of wait and see approach.
Yeah, and like, you know, you sent me that Lauren Lanning thing the other day, and like I don't really care about anything what he has to say. Like he's a good developer, and Oddworld is an iconic franchise, and I loved Stranger's Wrath. I thought that was a great game, but like, you know, I try not to listen too much to what people have to say when they're kind of throwing other people under the bus. But he did make two really good points in what he had to say. And this is a lot of the reason why a lot of people, I think, are having a wait and see approach with the Switch, is like, you know, after a year out of the Wii's life cycle, who else was making money off the Wii besides Nintendo? You know, you look at the Wii U, you look at the attach rates of the games, the top 15 games with attach rates are games that were either developed by or published by Nintendo. Like, who was making money off the Wii U besides Nintendo? And like, that's kind of a shallow way to look at it, but at the same time, it's a good point. But I think the Switch has a broad enough appeal, like the Wii, to where, like, you know, the top selling game on Wii besides Wii Sports was Carnival Games, you know, and that was not developed by Nintendo. You look at, you know, multiplayer games like that, Boom Blocks, you know.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people are waiting for that boom to kick in, which I think will be this holiday.
This is the thing about the Wii part for it, is that even though a lot of people felt like a lot of companies wasn't making money off of it, you got to remember, in that time, if a game didn't sell on PS3 or 360, a developer was closing. So what would you rather do? Put a game out on Wii and not make as much but still be open, or put a game out on PS3 on the bigger developers companies for the hardcore or adult gamer, and get your studio closed a week after the game comes out? Because I rather put my stuff on Wii and make some kind of money off of it. I don't want my studio closed that I've been making games for 15 or 12 to 20 some years, and I made history with games, and now because one game don't sell, I'm closed after you actually just brought us. I rather put my stuff on Nintendo and recoup some money.
Yeah,
and people. Oh, go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was gonna say, my thing is, like, you know, this company sounds like they publish a lot of like indie style games, which is where the Wii's develop, like where the most popular games on Switch are, not Wii, Switch. Like, you know, we see a lot of cool indie games coming there, and they have a large attach rate because, you know, Nintendo hasn't put out a lot of games yet, and people are looking for things to play, and indie games are A, cheap, B, fun, and C, have a really cool you know, draw to them because they're different. And like, I think, you know, if you're an indie developer or an indie like a publisher that helps indie games get published and funded, like, I think the Switch, in terms of its portability, in terms of its versatility, like, there's a lot of ways you can play your indie games with the Switch, and I think that they would be smart. Like, I understand someone like a bigger publisher like EA or Activision having a wait and see approach to Switch, which, you know, I'm getting NBA 2K18 and FIFA on Switch because I want them portably and I want them in my hands at all times. Like I wish EA was putting Madden on Switch, because that's the game I really want portably all the time. But in terms of indies, like how many indie games have I told you that I've bought, like in the since I got Switch?
Probably about 15.
Yeah, I probably have like between 15 and 18 indie games, and what I like, if these were on PS4 or Xbox One, maybe
they would get ignored.
Maybe I would look at them, but I probably wouldn't get them. But the fact that I can take them with me and have them portably and then play them on the TV, like, I double dipped on Shantae, right? Because that game's amazing. I got it on Switch because I want to play it in my hands all the time. And, Snake Pass was a cool game that probably would have gotten overlooked if so many people weren't pushing so hard for it on Switch,
And like Shantae, for me, I bought on Wii U. I'm going to buy it on Switch. And the thing with indies on Nintendo on the Switch is that they're getting more marketing. They're getting more sales because they're being noticed. Being on PlayStation and being on Xbox, if they would come out, those things get shoveled by the side or overshadowed by like Destiny or Call of Duty or some big name title. Like, people get on Nintendo of not marketing their games and as such. But has Sony or Microsoft like mentioned any of their indie developers that they've been working with? EA's not even marketing. Like they didn't market Unravel. They didn't market Fee. Let's see how they market a ways out. Like what about y'all indie development that y'all all was supposed to do? When did you guys marketed that? Because I see more marketing in like their sports titles than I have in Unravel. Unravel was show at E3. It came out and nothing else. I didn't see nothing about it, but at least like with some of the at least Nintendo's just like, hey, on eShop this is it, or like even a company they were showing off and stuff like, or some people even do it like they got some indie commercials that they attach to their YouTube site and talk about them. Like they marketed some of the indie games more on it from Nintendo than they do any other place.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. So like, indie presence is going to be stronger on Switch because indie presence was strong on Vita. And this is the Switch is, in all honesty, everything the Vita wanted to be but couldn't be, right? You had the cross buy thing with PS4 where you could play your indie games on your PS4 and take them with you on your Vita, but at the same time the Vita didn't have strong first party support, which Nintendo has to provide strong first party support, which we're seeing to make the Switch survive, because they don't have strong third party support the way that Xbox and PlayStation does. They don't
have strong Western third party support. They have Japanese third party support.
Yeah,
trust me, they have that.
I'm just saying, like, this is the reason why the Vita didn't succeed, is because Sony abandoned them. Sony abandoned the Vita, and like left it, to indies to populate the platform, which sucks. Because the Vita was a cool device. It was a cool device, and I would have liked to seen Sony take some chances on there. Like Gravity Rush is a great game. And then, they put the sequel on PS4, which kind of, as much as I love Gravity Rush, like that sucked that I couldn't take it with me because the first game was so good. So, and I think the Switch is a natural place for Vita players to migrate to. Plus, you can play it on your TV. Plus, you get awesome games like Mario Kart 8 and Breath of the Wild and Splatoon 2 and everything that's coming out this fall and beyond. So, I think indie growth is going to... I think indies are only going to become more popular on Switch, as long as they can be peppered out throughout the major releases. Like maybe an indie game a week, with strong marketing behind it, the way that Xbox and PlayStation don't seem to want to do.
Right, and it's doing good in Japan, which is very healthy. The only like Europe, they're trying to get it together. Because surprisingly, Crash Bandicoot is leading the pack in Europe. But I think if they could get a good following in Europe, like get more systems out and people want it, and it's stronger all around the world, it won't even matter what Western third party does. But because indie and Japanese third party, it will make the system flourish. Nintendo will make the system flourish. And what's going to happen is that Western third parties, they're going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to continue to go the route that they're going, or they're going to have to start really supporting it and get some sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be interesting because I would love to see third-party support on Switch, but I would like to see it in the way that they're doing it with Ubisoft in terms of, allowing these third parties to become creative and use Nintendo IP. And, I think the Mario Rabbids game is probably the best thing to happen to Mario since Mario Kart. Like, honestly, that game looks amazing. It looks so cool. Like, oh, it just looks awesome. And, like, to have, like, I'm not saying, like, Nintendo is ever wrong when they develop something, because everything they develop is fantastic, but to have like a fresh set of eyes and a fresh team take Nintendo's IP and look at it from a different angle and be able to develop something cool like the Mario Rabbids game,
and to teach and give notes about it, because that's what's I think that's what's going to happen with this, is that you'll see what Nintendo does with Ubisoft for Mario and Rabbids, and then you'll see what Ubisoft still does when they're by themselves. Now, I'm not saying Assassin's Creed Origins or whatever it is. I'm not going to say that game is going to be a failure or anything, but if that game comes out having problems and just being an okay game, it's going to tell you the difference of the two teams that Ubisoft is releasing for this year. Mm-hmm. It will show that, okay, you guys got to work with one of the best developers and publishers in the video game industry, and you guys were able to create that. Now, will you guys do we hold you up now to that standard, or do we hold you to a Ubisoft standard and just make a game like Assassin's Creed to get it out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, I think Nintendo is never worried about the fiscal schedule the way that EA obviously was with Mass Effect, or the way that Activision usually is. I think Nintendo, I mean, if they were concerned about that, Zelda would have been out 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
So I think Nintendo is smarter than that. I think they are doing a great job of controlling the message and saying, look, we're about quality. We want quality on our platform. We want indie games to feel at home on our platform. We want third parties to develop for a platform. That's why Unity and Unreal Engine are being used in Switch games, like developed by Nintendo. The new Yoshi game is developed in Unreal 4. So
right.
Nintendo's trying to prove to these third parties that, hey, bring your game here. It's easy to develop for. We're using this mobile chip that's easy to develop for. It's the equivalent to what PS4 and Xbox One use in terms of like, they're using the x86 architecture, which is basically a PC. Well, this is the mobile equivalent of that. So please, it's easy to develop. Please come to our platform. Like, they're doing everything they can to A, control the message, and B, show that the Switch is a viable platform. And I think it's going to sell really well. I don't know if it's going to hit Wii numbers, but I think this could sell easily 3DS numbers at least. Mm-hmm. Probably more. I honestly think that. Maybe not right out the gate, but this thing's going to have legs 4, 5, 6 years down the road. When we're talking about this,
right, and I think it's going to have a strong library physically and digitally,
right?
Because when I get in my Nintendo system, Sorry, I was about to sneeze. When I get my Nintendo systems, I know I'm going to get, I always say I'm going to get good first party support. But I like the weird and quirky games. So I would try that on with these other third parties that a lot of people don't pay attention. Yeah, it might be bad, but you know what? I played bad games from the NES days that I think that are classics because they was at least trying to do something. And they didn't set out to make a bad game. It's just that some maybe budgetary reasons, or maybe they didn't have time to get things fixed, and they had to get the game out. I'm up to that challenge to play something like that and enjoy it. I told people that I want to play on a Barbie game. I want to play great games designed for girls, and if it's bad, it's bad. But I want to understand it because I feel like that's quirky to me, because it's something that we don't talk about. B, normal people don't get, and C, it's still rolled out, so it has to be successful in some kind of manner. And that's what I love when I get out of Nintendo systems. Mostly when it comes to Sony, it's mostly Japanese games that I don't see sold in the store. So it's on PSN, and I'll pick it up and I'll try it.
Yeah, it's Nintendo has come out strong with the Switch. Indie support is strong. We're seeing these games being like WWE is one of the biggest entertainment things in the world. Like, to have that game come out on this is a good sign. NBA 2K to have that on the Switch is a good sign. To have FIFA on the Switch is a good sign. To have all these indie developers come over and say, look, Nintendo, like, we're working with Nintendo to put our game on Switch is a good sign. So it's going to be awesome to watch this unfold and see, not everything has to be about power, not everything has to be about graphics, not everything has to be about, can we get this to look as realistic as possible? We're going to see, the Switch take off because it's fun to play. You can take it with you. You can play it on your TV.
Yes.
These are the things that I think are becoming more important to people instead. And like, there's always going to be the people that are obsessed with power, and that's fine. Xbox One X and PS4 Pro and high-end PC are for you. But but we're seeing a generation where, the novelty in a device and the convenience of a device are more important than the high fidelity graphics. It's a Netflix thing.
Corey?
Yeah.
I have breaking news for you.
Uh-oh.
It's fair to say that Nintendo Switch owners with a copy of NBA Playgrounds have had their patience tested, but the wait for is the game's much-needed major update going on for longer than expected. Apparently in early June, with the promise of Shaq Fu, a legend reborn for free, now the update for the game has finally rolled out. So if you own NBA Playground, there is an update that has came out. Some of the few key features: online matches are finally available. It offers ranked matches, or you can set up challenge matches with friends by using a code system. The developer have tweaked the entire shooting system from jump shots to threes to dunks, layups, and everything in between. They've redone the timing, added a meter, and clarified the entire system. 15 new players have been added, including Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman. Those two All-Star and 13 others will be unlocked through the regular packs in the game. So it seems like a relatively meaty update based on the download time. If it hasn't already triggered for your copy, go to the games window, press the plus button, scroll down to software update, and select via the internet. This writer will give it a whirl once the download is complete. So they just announced it like a few minutes ago.
Awesome. I can't wait for Shaq Fu, man. Ed hates Shaq Fu for some reason. It's the best game ever.
I don't hate Shaq Fu. It's just
it's Shaq Fu, man.
I know. I know.
But
yeah,
man. But like I said, probably in the next couple days. I've finished a couple of my blogs I've been working on for what feels like months at this point. But they're going to go up this week, and one of them is about how the Switch has changed the way I view gaming with adult with responsibilities and can't always sit down and play 5 to 6 hours at a time, and that kind of stuff. So I have a couple blogs coming up in terms of what the Switch has done for me in terms of gaming and allowed me to do, and what I kind of wish, I almost wish Xbox and PlayStation would just totally rip them off at some point, because I love that I can just play games on my couch, and then when my wife goes to bed, I just put the Switch in the dock and pick up my Pro Controller and keep playing. Like, it's such a fantastic idea and such a fantastic device that, like, I don't know. I just don't know what to say about it anymore, man. It's just, it's great.
It just hit the spot. It just got it right.
Yeah, it does. But is there anything else we need to touch on before we get out of here?
If anyone have not seen the Castlevania TV show Netflix, do watch that 4 episode. It's really good. It probably in real time maybe take you like an hour and 20 minutes, but it's really, really good. I watched it Friday.
It's only 4 episodes, right?
Yeah. There is a season 2 that because it got renewed, and it's going to be 8 episodes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one other thing. If you guys have questions for us for our Friday shows, I'm setting up an email address for it, nintendopalblock@gmail.com. You can go ahead and send it there until we get a proper address for NGR Radio. So you can go ahead and check that out. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode. You can hear my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, the Anonymous Radio Network.podbean.com, and other podcast apps. And definitely you can check it out here on NGR Radio. My recent episode that I released that's really getting us discussion. Did the PlayStation 4 get a pass? And I really want you guys to listen to the episode and let me know your thoughts about it. You can check my writings on NGR Radio. This coming Wednesday, I will be having, after you actually see this, I'll have a review up for Stories, the Path of Destinies that I played on PlayStation 4. I actually beat the game today, but I still got to go back and try to unlock everything else. But I will have a final review for that. I also will have a review up for a game called Submerge. And then I will be having 2 blogs about Mass Effect Andromeda, and I will be having a blog about Zelda in general. I have another blog for that one that might make some people upset about it. It's going to be very interesting to see what people think on what I have to say about that. Also check out my series, Optional Opinion, the blogs on IGN.com under Anime, ENIME, and check out my retro blogs, The Moment, at SkirmishFrogs.com. And also check out World 11 Podcast at ShoutEngine.com. Yeah. And part of NGR Radio.
Yeah.
And Arsenal X. Yes.
Okay, so you can find me at Corey in HD on Instagram, Corey Hudson in HD on Twitter. You can find me on Nintendo Pal Block, NGR Radio, and Arsenal X, and periodically on World 11. Let's see what else. Come subscribe to our YouTube. We are working really hard to do breakouts of our episodes. We're working really hard to give you the content that some people have asked for, some people are wondering if we were doing. So check out our YouTube page. It's doubled in subscriptions in the last 2 weeks, so I'm proud of that.
Yay!
Now when you see the subscriber count, you're not going to be impressed, but I'm happy with the growth of the YouTube page in general. Check out our website, ngrradio.com. I have my long overdue Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild review going up. It's up, actually, if you're listening to this, so go check that out. 2 more blogs coming from me this week in terms of, what Zelda means to me in terms of my life and how the Switch has changed gaming for me as an adult. So check those out later this week. And join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Nintendo Join the NGR Radio Network Facebook group that is now facebook.com/groups/NGR Radio Network. If you're a creator, join the Creators Corner. That's a positive place where creators can throw ideas back and forth. We're going to reopen our Destiny group soon, so that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. And can I say this for the creator group? If you guys want to get into podcasts, let me know. I could do optional opinion with you guys, or we could try out just weird podcasts that you, or like things that you want to talk about, so you can get some experience on it. It is all audio, so you don't really have to worry about video or anything, and I could give you guys tips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our goal with that group is to help people, not only grow their stuff, but, if you're looking to break into it, like podcasting is becoming more popular by the day. Like, it's not hard to get into. You just need an idea and a microphone and somebody that's willing to listen. And, sometimes, for my first probably 15 episodes of a podcast, like I was the only person listening, but that's how you learn. That's how you get better, by throwing ideas back and forth with each other, finding out what equipment works and what you need depending on what you want to do with it. So, you can reach out to me and Ed too on Twitter or on Facebook or something. Like, you can just reach out to us and ask us questions, at that retro code and at Corey Hudson HD on Twitter. Like, just shoot us a quick tweet.
Yeah.
We'll get there. My notifications are on. Trust me, I want all the feedback and questions that we can get. So,
right. Tweet at me at that retro code. I'm willing to help you guys. Corey and I is really willing to help you guys to get started. If you want to know how mics cost, setups and all the equipment and stuff, if you really want to get invested, we guys can help you guys with that.
Yeah. Like, there's a way to do it that is affordable, and there's a way to do it, to make it sound good. And there's free programs out there for people. Like Audacity is a good one. If you're a Mac owner, GarageBand's a good one. So just shoot us a message. We'll get you there. We will help you get there, and then you can come on one of our shows to promote your new stuff and join the community. It'll be fun. It's a good time.
Yes.
So. Anyways,
let us be your Nintendo.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching and or listening. Like, subscribe, and share. Rate us, all that good stuff. And until Friday, we're out.
Bye, everybody.